Well, hello, it's Friday night once again, and you know what that means. Australian Online Supercar Series, the AOSC is back, all thanks to Jinx Shifters. Race 195, we got up there, and it's season 11, round number 4, and of course, tonight, it is coming to you from Imola, as we put it in Aussie terms. I'm Matty Kavanagh, and joining me back in the commentary box is the birthday boy himself, celebrating a year older than being a child, but a year closer to retirement. Matthew Norris, how's it going, buddy?
I can't find my spectacles, but it's fine.
Yeah. You like that? You're a year closer to retirement, mate. Come on, it's all coming. We got a big race tonight, only 30 laps. Daniel Leake can't join us tonight. We've deleted him from the commentary box for a week, but he will be back next week, so can't wait to have him back on the crew. But tonight, the Autodroma Enzo Dino Ferrari is where we are, or Imola, as us Aussies say. Good to see us there. 4.86 kilometres around there. Temperature set at 39 degrees at the moment. Of course, we are going the Grand Prix entry around them. We're not going the old MotoGP side. We give us a little kink out there, about 17 corners to get around. 18 degrees is the air temperature, only 32% humidity with a little bit of cloud over there. So conditions aren't too bad, Norrie, for tonight. And I mean, it's only a short one. And from memory, we've only got 30 laps. So pretty quick. Incident limits down to 20, but 2 compulsory stops. And that's what we saw in the second round, wasn't it? Those compulsory stops. Let's hope that everybody has read the rules this time.
Yeah, the compulsory stops really do add an element, and it makes it really exciting as the racing comes to us tonight. Like you said, 30 laps, so we've got plenty to get used to, and let's hope they have read the rulebook.
Yeah, we saw a couple last time. Poor old Hinsey, he should have been on the podium, but you know, some things happen. Let's have a chat about last week. Of course, it was a big one, 650k. Red Bull Ring went there. How good were the supercars around there? That was one thing that everybody we spoke to said was how good. We actually interviewed the winners, and well, they weren't actually the winners in the end because there were some late penalties there with 60 incident points up for grabs. Quite a few people sort of went over those in the last couple of laps there. So some unfortunate late penalties in that one, which changed some of the results, which meant it was actually Brian Borg and Corey Shepherd who took the win at that one. Then it was Ethan Grigault and Ian Ford in second, and the Trans-Tasman Racing Boys, Brady Myers and, of course, Lee Ellis. Mate, those guys, I don't know how they got back into the race, but they managed to do that, and, you know, they come up on the board there in third, and James Scott and Sam Blacklock, another one, they had a couple of drive, they had a drive-through penalty, sorry, at one stage, and everything didn't really go their way, but they ended up in fourth after all those penalties were dished out. So, very interesting race last week.
Yeah, it was action-packed, and you said we didn't talk about winners. We did. Brian Bull, Corey Shepherd got the win. That's a good win for them, and that'll set Corey's momentum off as he challenges. Remember, James Scott is back this week, but he isn't regular in the series this year, so or this season, I should say. So Corey Shepherd really will be trying to take that challenge to Andrew Dyson, who I think lost his championship lead at Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, I can confirm that. I do have him up in front of me. So Corey Shepherd takes over the lead. Now, Dyso stays equal with Brian Borg. So they're equal on 840 points now. It is saying that championship lead Borgie is actually in front, which will come into, you know, how they've won and all those sorts of things. But they are on equal points. Jordan Ross ends up in 4th position on 760. And Adam Briggs, well, all it means is Dyso and Briggs are back in their 3rd and 4th position. That's all that means.
They love 3rd and 4th, don't they?
They just love the 3 and the 5. They want a 1 and a 3, though. I think that's what they said at the start of the season. This season, they're looking for a 1 and a 3. So I see how they go. We know Dyso's got the win, which is fantastic to see. He's made win out here in AOSC, and he's pretty happy about that. And, of course, the Phoenix Smokers on board. So tonight's only a short race. Hopefully, they got the smoker on early so they can enjoy that after the festivities. Last week with the big race, well, you put the smoker on at the start, really can't.
Yeah, you really can. Yes, I think we lost Matty Kavanagh tonight, but we're going to keep trying to persevere through this one. Wrapping up, getting close to the end of qualifying. Here is, as we're moving around, see where we are. This is James Scott, who, like I say, he isn't regular in the series this season, but he's making his return back to his regular spot of number 1. He's currently provisional pole in this session. And looks to be having a commanding lead. He's currently on 141.5. And Jackson Slusen-Harlows in position 2. Corey Shepherd, he was your championship leader, and he's currently looking to be starting out at P3. He's setting some good qualifying times, and he'll be looking to get further up there. Brady Myers, this is a name we haven't seen since, well, last week out at Red Bull Ring, but he's back again this week, so it'll be good to see the Trans-Tasman racer getting his car at pointy end, currently P4 on a 141.9. He's transferred. And Sam Blacklock in the other Logitech cars, so it's good to have both Logitechs here too. Brady is a Trans-Tasman driver, and Jake Maloney is there in 6 as well. So we've got a lot of drivers up there on the timesheets. Sorry about the bit of the disruption here in the box. We've lost our regular commentator, but you've got me filling in, and that's always good for everybody. Rick Kuznetsov has moved up to position 8 on that board there, so a few drivers still finding their pace here in the final stages of qualifying. And we've got a few drivers rolling out. They're trying to get their lap underway and trying to get this whole thing sorted for them. Remember, we're here at the Circuit di Autodromo Enzo Dino Ferrari, which is otherwise known as Imola. Fantastic circuit, steeped in history throughout the world and obviously the world of F1, but here with our supercars it does add quite a spectacle. Currently got you looking at Sean Lindsell, who's looks like he's on a bit of an outlap finding his way around. So we've also got your ticket down the bottom there, Sebastian Trixier, Brenton Nishke, Sebastian Flock and Ken Latta all putting laps on the boards. Nothing is lighting up purple at this moment, so still waiting to see. This is a traffic jam in the pit lane. Gordy Cini leaving the lane and behind Sam Blacklock, and the Synergy cars all forming up through the infield. That's not the ideal line. Adam Hain from Taipan Esports. He'll be looking to aim further up the grid for his qualifying position. Also got Brenton Hobson out there at the moment.
Sorry, Nori, I lost you there, mate. I've got perfect internet here at the moment, which has just decided to drop out on me. I don't know how long I was speaking, and you weren't there.
It's all right. I thought you just upped and left, but it's good to have you back, matey.
I'm not having a great night, I think, with technology tonight. It's been one of those weeks, and we're back on. And like I say, it looks like James Scott's still leading us out there at the moment, so he's super strong. Jackson along behind him, Jackson Harlow. Sam Blacklock back this week as well in the individual race, joining us in AOSC11, which pushed Corey Shepherd back to 4th position at the moment in qualifying. Now, all in the 141s, Brady Myers there. I mean, and look at this, Job Stewart. I mean, we're going to have a race on our hands tonight with those fast guys at the front.
Oh, you're definitely not going to be sport for choice for the fast drivers at the front of this field. It's really going to determine who of these newcomers, mainly Sam and Brady, has read the rule book, because these guys aren't regulars. I know Corey will be all over it like a rash. I really do hope James is all over it like a rash, because he's constantly at the front of the field. So, you know, that we're going to not be sport for choice. That's for sure.
Yeah, we definitely aren't. I mean, Brady Myers, he showed his pace last week, especially when he got in the car there with co-driver, and they pushed their way as far as they could to the front. Ended up, you know, with a good result in the end, considering what they went through. But yeah, super fast, and you know, there's a bit of curb here too. I noticed on this track. where really are the overtaking opportunities going to be for us, Norrie? Because there's 17 corners to get around, but some tight curbs there, a couple of little tight S's as well.
Yeah, turn one, or the main braking zone before the first chicane, that's really your best spot. And then you really do have a couple of good spots into the bus stop and at the last couple of corners coming onto the straight, but the turn one really is the best one. You've got that long run down the straight to get the maximum amount of pace, and then pull out just before and outbrake them into the chicane. That's really the best overtaking spot on the mark, as Brady just eclipses Sam Blacklock and moves into P3.
Well, there you go. He's just pushing that on a little bit, aren't they? And how close are they? We're talking hundreds of a second there between those two guys, so they're not too far. But James Scott definitely got a nice strong lead there at 141.48, so he's a few tenths out in front of everyone else at the moment. You can see him up there and just trying to find some clean air. But the Mr. Antenna car, Corey Shepherd, what's he going to do in P5? He hasn't really started off row 3 in a long time. It's always been row 1 or 2 for him, so it'll be very interesting. Speaking about the track though, Norrie, again, I think, we always have a bit of a joke about when we're going to see a safety car, but that when they come around to turn 2 and 3, that first little S chicane, that thing is going to be so tight. There is no room to go side by side. They're going to be hard on the brakes. I mean, someone tries to do a move down there, we could see all sorts of things happen.
It's a good thing the safety car follows them around for the first lap, because they're going to need one.
I think they are. I mean, there's a couple like that. I mean, you talk on the other side of the track, turns 11 and 12, that's the same. That's a really tight little chicane area, and I mean, there is just no room for cars to go side by side.
We saw before Geordie Stinney coming out of the pit lane and then going straight across the grass. So there's not room there, and these guys are going to have to be really sensible when we've got a grid as full as we've got to make sure they keep their wits about them.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. And good thing about this one is, once again, just like it was last week, we've got a little bit of runoff, bit of grass. It's not like the concrete jungles right at Chicago, so there is a little bit of leeway there, but a few corners there, like here where you see Corey Shepherd up on the screen now, a bit of dirt just on the outside too, so be careful not to drop a wheel there as well, because I was watching the guys in practice and a fair bit of wheel spin when they push the corner a bit too wide, and I think this one's going to be a lot of gear shifting involved, it's all of downshifting, and that's where we see a lot of strain put on the engines, and we have seen them blow up in season 10, and we saw an engine there last week as well. So, boys going to be careful on the downshift too, and there's going to be a fair bit of that around this track.
Yeah, engine popping in these supercars isn't so much of a mystery anymore. It's sort of limited to these cars, and like you're saying, Matty, you got to be real careful, because if you do downshift and blow the engine, that's your race done. You don't get to have another chance. So, really got to be careful with these ones.
Yeah, here we go. So, see the 017, the RaceKraft Simulations, I was speaking about them when I wasn't on air, when I was talking to myself, but RaceKraft Simulations over there in WA do a fantastic job, and they've got a nice little setup there too. You can go in, you can enjoy it, you can be part of it, and I'm hoping a bit later in the season we're going to catch up. And I was actually talking to one of the commentators over in WA that has spent too much money, I suppose, on sim gear since. Same with all of us. He hasn't been able to do it. They've had their off season over there. So Chris Mitchell, if you're listening, a bit of a shout out to you, mate. But hopefully a bit later in the season, we might get him to drop in from RaceKraft Simulations over in WA and have a bit of a chat with us, because it's look, he's a good guy. He's really got on the sim racing. He does circuit racing in real life. That's what his background is. Go-karts. He knows all about that stuff over there, and hopefully him and the boys and Johnny and that can get on board, and we can get him here into the commentary box for a couple of our races later on in AOSC11. But yeah, great stuff over there, and I know they've got a bit of the sim rig stuff over there as well. So, lots of these people that we all deal with in the AOSC and our sponsors all working together to put some fantastic packages together. And of course, you won't go past the Jinx Shifter. I can tell you what, if you want to hang that off the side of your... Just having a look at Brad Radu up on screen at the moment, and the old Natrad Commodore getting around, and not a bad time from him either. I mean, he's only 8 tenths off the pace at the moment for P1, but I mean, James Scott is right up there. It's good to see Radu back here amongst us and just making those things happen. Brad Radu doing a nice, as he slides the car out there. We've given him the commentator's curse, the camera curse, whatever you want to call it, but yeah, he slides off the track there, and of course, that's unfortunate for him. Kenneth Ladder there looks like he's pulling up and looking for some clean air. Todd Hayne up on your screen at the moment, though. Just looking at our purple second times here. There's a few of them bouncing around. There's a couple of people starting to push on now. Jackson Soslin Harlow in the United Sim Sport entry, though, he is catching up to James Scott little by little. He was at a 141.72 early. He's at a 6.0 now, so he is starting to close that gap down a little bit. See Todd Hayne up there, the Taipan Esports entry now at the moment. He's done a 142.43. Be interested in getting the 141s there. Maybe he can pull something out on one of his laps. But I mean, the 141s is where our, well, how many have we got in the 141s now? We've got 7 cars in the 141s at the moment. So it is going to be close in the first 4 rows of this race. The start is going to be absolutely crucial. There's not going to be a lot of room, like Norrie said. Turn number 1, you're going to get a bit of an opportunity there. But come that first little chicane, you don't want to bring yourself unstuck because this is a sprint race. Only 30 laps tonight, 150 kilometres, which is very different to what we saw last week. You can make a mistake, you can come back from it. Pit stop strategies came into play. Tonight, there is a pit stop strategy you need to look out for. You've got to do 2 pit stops. Will we see some things happen? Last time the guys sort of read the rules. There's a couple of guys who read the rules really really well, and it was probably bad for some of the other guys because when they had a terrible qualifying session, they'd read the rules, they knew exactly what to do, and they took a little sneaky pit early on the race start. So that's not going to happen tonight. I believe we've updated a few of those things, so they're going to have to get around, they're going to have to get that first lap in. But if something happens on that first lap, especially some of these little tight chicanes, that's where we can see a mad rush of drivers going in the pits just to grab that first initial pit stop, because that's all they're going to need for the entire race. But they've got to do 2, and they're going to have to pick their time very carefully, because the last thing you want to do is come out in traffic. I mean, we do have 4.91 kilometres, so a reasonably spread out track, and without those big long straights, we're probably going to see with the braking a little, the car spread out a little bit there as well, I think. So last time we're here was season number 9, Michael Talianchich. Mickey T took the win on that one. So just having a look to see if we've got Mickey T in the list here tonight. If he's somewhere here, I reckon we're going to have him. He is, there he is, the 777, the track racer entry from Pursuit Sim Racing, Michael Talianchich. Now, he'll be looking to qualify a lot better. We have seen him, he comes through the pack a lot of the time. We talk about how many positions he normally makes up, Mickey T. But you got to remember, he comes from the back of the pack a lot of the time. So in race mode, though, when he's actually in the racing, he is pretty fast. He just doesn't seem to be able to get that qualifying time that he wants to get. As Corey Shepherd sideways out there, stays off the wall. The Mr. Antenna car, he's pushing hard at the moment. He's gone up to position number 4 at the moment, the Premier Racing Team entry. Corey Shepherd, a 141.83 now is his time. Brady Myers there, a 67. He's gone faster as well. James Scott, well, you know, he just comes out, runs a 141.48, just lays it down, but he's done a 141.57 on the last lap. Sector 4 was purple, so he's pretty fast still, but he's come out and done it early. He can have himself a little bit of a breather. Sam Blacklock, though, he normally teams up with him, a 142.01. Oh, no, here he goes. We see some movement. No, Blacklock goes a 141.86. Just completes that lap, so look at him go. Just gets into the 141s. Unfortunately, won't move him up. He's going to stay in 6th position, but it puts him less than 100th off the back of Jake Maloney, which is very impressive. We're going to see him super tight. Now, what we aren't seeing is Andrew Dyson there, who's just outside the 141s, and Adam Briggs. They're an 8 and 9, not the usual 3 and 5 we see him in. So the Sim Rigs Phoenix Smokers boys have got a fair bit of work to do tonight, Norrie. Well, our birthday boy is getting a little bit of a present here tonight. He gets to be in a bit of a hot lap. He gets to go out there in a Mercedes. We've given him the keys to a Mercedes for a couple of laps tonight, and he's going to go out there in the Acuta and Jinx Shifters safety car tonight and help us out a little bit here in race control. So we'll see Norrie duck in and out just a little bit. Here we go, Brady Myers. Pulls the car up there, uses a fair bit of curb. And you've got to remember, too, in qualifying, too much curb going, too much to the outer limits there will null and void your lap. So you might see some of these guys who are on a really flying lap, but unfortunately they go to those outer limits, and iRacing will then give that a 0. And you can be on the fastest time, but it won't count. Comes around the last couple of corners here. So this is an out lap for him, I do believe. He's going to come around here and start. You see the pit entry on the right-hand side as you come around this final corner. Probably good to stay on board with him. We take a little bit of a lap around here at Imola. Here we go. Oh no, we're gone. The checkered flags are up. He's not going to improve his time on that one. So the checkered flag is out. Cars will come around and just try and finish off their laps. Corey Shepherd just had a purple sector 1, so he is flying at the moment. Just trying to see if he's actually still out there. doing some times. I think he might be. So Corey Shepard, the Mr. Antenna, has one more opportunity at this one. What can he do? He's starting off the second row, which is pretty lucky. He was back in row number 4 at some stage throughout this qualifying session, but looks like he's made up that time and he's 1:41.83. Purple sector 1. Waiting to see exactly what he finishes up with here. He's going to push on. He does have a car in his way. Maybe he can use that a little bit, some drafting to his advantage. Adam Hayne, I do believe that is in front of him. They come down the back of this racetrack. There's not too much left to go. See the braking markers come up. That kink to the right. Final couple of corners now. Just got to be careful on the exit here. Keep it clean. A little bit of dirt already kicked up there. Don't grab any grass. They hug the wall here now, right along the Armco. We'll see how Corey Shepard goes. What does he do on this one? Does he go up a time? No more purple sector times up on my screen. But look at the time. P2, 1:41.60. So he'll go, it'll be a little bit different to that actually, because I'm only down to 2 decimal points there. So 6-0, it'll be something like that. He's just gone in front of Jackson Sosland Harlow in the United Sim Sports entry. So he'll now go back to row number 2 with Brady Myers alongside. So what a tough race this is going to be, especially from the top 6 or 7 out there, as you can see. And our final car up on screen, Christian Smart. He's back at a 1:42.88. Where can he go? Position number 26. Let's push a 999. The final, well, no, he's pulling into the pits. He's not going to complete this lap one, so he's going to be sitting back in 26th position, the Synergy Sim Racing entry. Very interesting from him, and that's one thing we haven't seen. The Synergy guys, not too many of them at the front. I do notice Jordan Ross has slipped in there in position number 8. So what a qualifying session here for race number 4 of AOSC11. All thanks to Jinx Shifters and, of course, RaceKraft Simulations. Go and check them out on Facebook. Both those guys, that's Jinx Shifters and RaceKraft Simulations, because they do some fantastic products. And the guys, if you want to have a go at sim racing, you're in Western Australia, RaceKraft Simulations, go and see Johnny and the boys and just have a go. Go down there and enjoy it. Big shout out to our American mates over in the USA, of course, Team 126 Racing, who are broadcasting us as well. We're sharing on their page over there and spreading their love of supercars over to the United States. Also, thanks to AJ Insurance Services, of course, simrigs.com, Acuta. If you want to go check them out for all their working at heights and stuff, AJ Insurance Services, Race Circuit Art Australia. Let's go through our grid though. On the front row, James Scott set that time early and was unbeatable in qualifying. He sets himself up number 1 alongside him though. Familiar spot, Corey Shepard in position number 2. Back to row number 2 with Jackson Harlow and Brady Myers in 4th. Job Stewart in 5th. Jake Maloney in 6th. On the 4th row, Sam Blacklock and Jordan Ross, the first of the Synergy Sim Racing cars. Then it's Andrew Dyson and Adam Briggs, the teammates, side by side in the Phoenix Makers Simrigs.com DPR entries. Rick Kuznetsov and Geordie Sinney are back in row number 6, 11 and 12. And then we look at position number 13, Brenton Hobson. It is there with Damien Johnson alongside, so that's 13 and 14. And then we go in Brad Ratu and Ken Latta, 15 and 16. Of course, so it's good to see Ken Latta. Brad Ratu back as well. Good to see him starting out of P15 with an EXG Motorsports entry. Position number 17, Todd Hayne and Bradley Vaughan will be alongside him in 18. Then it's Blake Warboys and Brian Borg in an unfamiliar position back in row number 10. He won't be happy about being that far back, because I saw him with some pretty impressive times in practice. Cameron Jones, the Century Motorsports in 21. Kyle Stokes alongside. Sean Lindsell in 23 with Adam Hayne in 24. Sebastian Flock and Christian Smart will be on row 13. Jacob Knight and Rob Bowden in row number 14. Now, Bowden has been that far back because he has been pretty fast, and we've given him some points there with the pedal set. There's a bit of an award there for improvement driver throughout the night. Bailey Frid there in 29. Sebastian Tix here will be in 30. And as we go back, and then it'll be Stephen Kokoschki will be back in 31. And we go back to Jamie Dyke, Stephen Vargo, David Kimman, Todd Parks, Wade Sheedy, Blake Delaney, Craig Ansbach, Justin Clayton, Michael Whiting in 40. Brett Nitsky, David Coleman, Tyson McElroy, Mickey T and Blake Purdy. Here we go, lights about to go out. We get the race started here. The revs come up. How will the start go? Have a look at this one. You got James Scott. He's got the inside line, the left hander. Look down the back though. They start to go 4 wide. It's wide at that point. Oh, Corey Shepard slots into P2 now. Pulls him behind. Harlow in 3rd. Myers now going to push on. Harlow decides to start on the inside there. This little chicane is going to go. They're going to come to grief here. A little bit of contact, but they hold on to that one nicely and they sort it out. A bit further down the pack, we've got cars turning around in the background. Looks like a Fishy Motorsports car as well. Maybe, was it? Was it a Fishy Motorsport car? I don't know. So many cars going around. It's all happening down the back. And yeah, we expected that to come on turn number 1. Now, did the safety car make it through? Whereas has not been involved. Oh, Myers has been involved in more contact as well, pushing back to P16, 17. Now he's going to have to bump his way through in the middle of the pack. Now, this is familiar to last week where similar things happened, and you know, him and his teammate had to push back through the pack. But remembering only 30 laps tonight, you're not going to have that opportunity. You're going to have to decide what you're going to do. Pit stops, you can see a lot of brake lock up there, and you can see cars moving around still. So it is all happening out on track. Oh, who's that? Is that Craig Anspach, number 10? Is that him? Oh, he will not be happy about that one too if that's number 10 there, Craig Anspach. So hope you look for that one. They're not settling down. 30 laps in this one. They are just going to push on. It looks like there's going to be a bit of carnage here. Craig Anspach can confirm that. Is that Briggs moving through the pack there in the number 72, and his teammate alongside Daiso. Will the beard prevail? Looks like he will. Briggs goes the outside, maybe very uncharacteristic to go that wide. Didn't look like he got pushed out too much at all, and I'm sure he would have stayed in the battle with his teammate if he could. Myers, though, going to have to muscle his way in now as they come under brakes. He's on the inside line, and Briggs is not going to want to be there on the outside at the moment. Brad Ratu has pushed his way up as well. If you have a look at him, position number 11 at the moment. So Ratu doing an absolutely fantastic job on the start, got himself a couple of positions, and he'll be happy to move on with that, 4 positions to be exact. So to keep on with Adam Briggs now in the number 72 simbriggs.com entry, and he's dropped 4 positions. He will not be happy about that one. We'll get through the first lap. We started lap number 2, and everything seems to settle down. We'll have to wait and see what race control adjudicates after those few little bits of contact there early, as Briggs, he slides the car out there nicely and holds onto it. He must have a fair bit of force feedback up on the wall, I reckon, just so he can hold that one. Here we go. Check a bit of a replay out here of the restart. Jacob McKnight, One Performance Racing. Jacob Knight it is. Waiting for the start. Something happened to him on the start because he has gone way back. A slow start there. Didn't quite get the clutch right on that one, maybe. Stay on board now, as you know, it's the left-hander here, but this chicane is where we're expecting carnage to happen. Oh, look at that. And yes, and that is contact. That is not good. Not good at all. Yeah, Todd Parks as well. So there's some issues there. Yeah, so just hit from behind there. That's just unfortunate. I mean, we expected that. That tight little chicane was always going to put a fair bit of pressure on those guys at that point, but haven't heard the safety car called out yet, which is good. So that's the best thing about this so far, is the safety car hasn't got out, because who knows what damage he could do out there at the moment. Our Mr. Norrie out there, the birthday boy, just getting that done. But yes, it's unfortunate there, as we just saw in the replay, a bit of contact, but it's all happening. And look at the time, so at the front of the pack, I mean, James Scott still setting a blistering pace at the moment. Absolutely blistering pace at the moment for him. So he's way out in front. Corey Shepherd in second. So here we go. Corey Shepherd, you know, almost a second back at the moment, not all that far back, but still working away. Got to watch it for Harlow behind him though. Another, you know, half a second, bit over half a second. Blacklock's a fair bit back. Now we need to watch as they come through the pack, because Myers there back in 17 now. Now he's got a fair bit of work to do, but he's fast. Now this is where we've made a minimum 2 pit stop strategy when it comes to this racing. So a minimum 2 pit stop strategy. It'll be very interesting to see how the guys decide to play that out here tonight, because do you come in early? Do you make that happen? What do you do? So 15 cars have pitted very early in the session, is what we can see up in our timing screen. So 15 cars have decided, well, let's get that well and truly out of the way nice and early. So yeah, they make that happen, and that's probably a good idea if you're down the back of the pack a bit more. Maybe you take that that look and that strategy into this race here tonight. I mean, that was the whole point of putting 2 pit stops into a short race like this, was to give people an opportunity to, you know, to bring those strategies into play and see what they can do with those as they get around here on the track. Corey Shepherd's still got a bit of a work to do. I'm just having a look back down, and it looks like Joe Stewart's not too far off the back of Andrew Dyson, so they're locked in a little bit of battle, and Jordan Ross right behind him. Now, he is the fastest of the Sydney racing guys this round, which is interesting, and he's just sitting there in 4th position from memory, sitting there in the championship, so he's just watching out to see what happens here tonight. Still coming to the pits at the moment for quite a few of them. So the pit lane, Varga's now coming in there, and they're all deciding it's their turn to come in. They're going to come in nice and early, knock this one off, because 3 laps completed, and on to lap 4 though for our leaders. Now watch James Scott. There's probably no point in him coming in. Pit stop strategy, if we talk about him, why would you come in at this point? He is leading it. You've got to be careful of the undercut here. It was such a short race. You could just break this down to the thirds, keep that tyre life nice and fresh possibly. Maybe that's a strategy you're going to take. Maybe you're just going to see the first lot out there, just go as far as you can on those tyres, as you're comfortable going, while you're staying with the times at the moment. He's got over a 1 second lead, so why wouldn't you just stay out there at the moment? Once you've got decided that you've got that opportunity to come in, you can come in for 2 short pit stops at the end of the race. Work yourself backwards. There's not going to be an opportunity to take much fuel. It's pretty much up, take tyres, dash of fuel, and on you go. So, at this point now, the leaders out the front, James Scott, Corey Shepherd, it's really in their hands what they decide they want to do. So we'll see how they go as it goes on. Just waiting to see Maloney, though, doing a nice job there back in position number 7. He's right on the back, though, of Jordan Ross. Look at the time there, only a couple of tenths of a second. So they are staying there. Sam Blacklock now has gone back in the pack. Not quite sure what's going on with Sam. Maybe some issues there, but it looks like that car has moved back in the pack. So a bit of a slowdown, maybe we're hearing maybe a bit of time to clear. So hopefully he will get that car back in there. It's very interesting to see him sort of stuck in the mid-pack there. He's not used to that, he's quite fast. So Jordan Ross gets himself another position. Daiso up to 5th. Then we go back to Joe Stewart now in 4th. Jackson Harlow in 3rd. Corey Shepherd 2nd. James Scott still leading us though. That is what he's doing. He is leading us away on this one. So as we keep on with the race, I mean, Bradley Vaughan's moving up. He's up 6 positions at the moment in P number 12. 9 positions for Rob Bowden. He's up to 19. Didn't have the qualifying session that he really wanted. He really had an unfortunate qualifying session for him. Briggsy's struggling though. Back in 10th, starting to claw back a few positions there, but not quite sure. Mickey T, who always likes to start at the back of the grid, of course, he's making a heap of positions, up to 34, up 10 positions. So Mickey T always working hard. Brady Myers now, though, getting back through that field. And look at him, P11, where we know people are taking some pit stops, and he's in that fight as he goes backwards now for Myers. That's unfortunate for him. Very unfortunate for Brady Myers. Check out Payne there in position number 17. Tom and Adam Haynes just behind him. Lindsell now goes past, and Lindsell ends up in 17, so another one of the DPR cars. That is, it's not good for him. He won't want to be back in that position. He wanted to push himself up a little bit, Lindsell. And of course, the Haynes boys are getting stronger and stronger each round as well. We have to give it to them. So the first of the top 10 starting to make their way into the pits at the moment. We'll start to, this is where we start to see what they're going to do. Do they think they can get undercut? Maybe they can take a bit of an advantage of this one. It's, everyone's got a little bit of a strategy in what they think they can do. Maybe you go for a long middle stint there and see how that works for you, or just keep those tyres at a consistent level is what they could be deciding to do. Just try and keep them at a consistent level. But it's up to those there. We can see the cars getting around at the moment. Parks now as we get back to Daiso in 5th position. He's back there. It's one of the numbers that the teammates like. 5 is one of the positions, but he'll be pushing on trying to get a 3rd tonight. I know he's had his win. The beards are strong there. The old Phoenix Smokers entry, and you can't have a Phoenix Smoke without having a luscious beard to go with it, I reckon. That's exactly what you've got to have. It's just having a beer, whiskey or something, a luscious beard, and smoking some meat on the Phoenix Smoker there for the DPR boys. But Andrew Dyson up in 5th position, up 5 positions actually, so he's done really well since the start of this race. Mickey T now up to 31, and like we say, he always ends up down the back if he has a bad qualifying, and that's why we see him make so many positions when it comes into the races. He's super fast, he just doesn't seem to be able to get that qualifying down pat, and imagine him qualifying in the top 10, how far he could take that car, because he definitely does have some race pace, and unfortunately he normally gets caught up in some race incidents there with the back of the pack, with everyone just trying to get through where they're bunched up in the middle part of the race, normally. So let's hope Mickey T's read the rules too, because 2 pit stops tonight. What is he going to do with those ones? Like we said though, like the reason for 2 pit stops is for us as controllers of the race is to see what they're going to do with their strategy and make it more exciting for you, the viewers at home. They can get home on 1 pit stop strategy. 1 set of tyres, fill her up, off you go, and you're definitely going to make 30 laps with 1 pit stop. No drama at all. But we like to throw 2 pit stops in there just to see what the boys can do and see how they change things around. Fred now back there and just working his way through the pack at the moment. I'm just trying to see how many positions Mr. Fred has made up on us, because he's been working hard. Job Stewart's still holding on to that 5th position where he started out, but Dyson's got past him now. He's given up his position over Dyso. He was up 1 position there. Jordan Ross is going to have to watch out because he is going to be super fast. He's right in the back. Jake Maloney now. So we've got a little 3-way battle going on here. It's very, very close between those 3. Dyso, Job Stewart, Jordan Ross, Maloney. Rick Kuznetsov not too far behind. Adam Briggs now making up a position. Sam Blacklock behind him now. Sam Blacklock went backwards, but watch for him. He's going to put a lot of pressure on. So just having a look down the pack there, we do have quite a few pit stops already, and it looks like is that Hobbo going in. And who's that coming in the pits? Corey Shepherd, the Mr. Antenna entry, the 718, has taken to the pits. Looking behind him, of course, number 35, Job Stewart as well pulling in. So we are seeing a few of the front runners starting to make their strategies known. They're going to come in a little bit earlier. We're only on 7 laps completed on the 8th lap, and they have decided to come in now. How will this sit Dyso up to 3rd position? He'll be happy about that. The number 3's back. He's looking for another win. The Phoenix Smokers entry. Great livery on that car now too. I love the redone livery. Scott, though, in command at the front, of course. James Scott leading this race away and still with a 1.4 second lead. It's going to be a lot quicker in pit here tonight. You can see they just pull off to the right. Not a really long pit. And what I like about the exit of pit lane is too, the guys coming down the main straight can see them. So although it probably disadvantages you come down the main straight, you want to cut across to the right before that left-hander, you can see the cars as they start to come out.
And sometimes you really need to be able to see that car coming down the inside because they come down quite quick.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you don't want to you do want to try and push to the outside and try and see what you can do there. This nice tight little battle though. As you can see, Dyso just leading it at the moment, and then it goes to Jordan Ross and Jake Maloney now, all tied up right in that little bunch. We've got a nice battle going on here. As you look up the front bar now of Jordan Ross. Last week caught up in a few incidents there and hurt him after the race. So we actually finished a little bit further up, but unfortunately ended up a bit further down the pack in the JK Science Synergy Sim Racing injury, which was unfortunate for them because they had a strong showing once again and put a great race together. But we add the incidents up, and if you're over that limit, you're going to get that drive-through penalty or the equivalent of, which is what happened to a few of our drivers last week. Only 20 incident points tonight. Now remember, you rack them up if you grab a wall, go out in the grass too much. What's that? War Boys. Oh no, he spun the car around there, Blake Warboys, and I was watching him in practice. He can string together a quick lap actually, Warboys. I don't know how consistently, which might be some of the issues there, but he can string a very fast lap together. So watch out for him, and he is getting more impressive every time we see him come out racing. But he's back on there. Looks like we're getting a few more people now who are responding to some of the cars going out there. Blacklock, I'm hearing, is in the pits as well. So Blacklock making his way in. Yeah, Jordan Ross, Andrew Dyson now, so they're all deciding to come in. So James Scott really the only one deciding to stay out there. Jackson Harlow as well, Jake Maloney. Probably your top 3 are the ones you need to watch. They're all locked in that little battle pack for the top 6 or 7. So they're the 3 that have stayed out there out of that little battle pack. We'll see where Dyso comes out, and it looks like he's going to come out behind. Job Stewart's just got in front of him as well. So a few things going on down there. Brady Myers, though, trying to make his way back to the pack. See Brad Radu back in 22nd position now, and he's lost a few positions at the moment, but he has been, just having a look at Brad Radu to make sure, has he been in the pits? Has he? Yes, he has been in the pits, so that's why he is a little bit further back. We'll wait to see what happens. Is that Mr. Borg behind him? So we've got Ratu, Brian Borg behind him as well. He's gone in the pits early to see if he can get forward. And he was back down in like position 10 or 11 from memory when it came to the start of this race. So he'll be looking to see what he can do there. He was back in position 20, sorry, Brian Borg, way back at the moment. So here we go. Coleman now, as you can see, in the number 640 there, the Fishy Motorsports entry there, just holding out Jacob Knight, who had that start there that wasn't ideal.
James Scott is pitting from the lead.
There we go. James Scott coming in because Kuznetsov follows him in. Briggsy's coming in as well. So Jackson Harlow's going to stay out there and push on. Jake Maloney as well. Maybe they're going to go for short pit stops at the end, Norrie.
And the Hayne trains join them. Yeah, they're going to look for some short ones to finish this race off, but they're getting them out of the way. And we're only, you know, early indoors in this one, lap 10 or so. So they've got some work to do.
Yeah, well, Norrie, from personal experience out there, you've done a lot more sim racing than me, and I'm not real good at it. I'm going to be honest there. What would be your personal preference? Would you try and space these out every 10 laps so you keep consistency in the tyre wear? Or would you go the distance and then try and bang 2 new sets on at the end and try and keep that qualifying pace?
I love the, the purple sectors at the end of a race. It always makes you feel good when you can set purples towards the end. I generally would go long and you know, try and come home fast. But some of these drivers who have been in a lot longer than me and they're a bit faster than me, they're probably going to split the strategy up exactly like you said, 10, 10 and 10. So it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously these guys at the front of the field, such as James Scott and Rick Kuznetsov and Corey Shepard, they've all come in early. So they're going to be running a different strategy for me.
Yeah, I think James Scott might have responded to Corey Shepard. Now, he stayed out for an extra 2 laps, so his tyres are going to be 2 laps fresher, but I'm sure he's got a spot of looking at the traffic further up, and that's what you got to be looking for. Where are you going to come out in regards to traffic? Now, maybe you're going to come in a little bit earlier than you wanted to, but you know you're going to have that clean air, and he's going to want to stay in front of Corey Shepard. He's not going to want to have to try and get past him as well, so he can just stay in that commanding lead. And funnily enough, James Scott, Corey Shepard, when I have a bit of a look out there, they are in clean air, very, very clean air at the moment. And even when we go back to position number 3, sorry, they're in reasonably clean air. They're in reasonably clean air at the moment, but they're coming up. They'll get a good chance if we see position number 3 come into the pits. Christian Smart, he has gone to the pits, so he's up 23 positions, but I think that's because there's been quite a few people in front of him already take to the pits. Be interested to see where he comes out, and that will really put him back in the runs. Is that Brady Myers going off in the background as well? Has he gone off again? Not the night that he wants to have, I do believe. Yeah, it was him out in the dirt. He won't be happy about that one. It'd be great to grab a replay on that one, see what happens. Maybe just a bit of a driver error there, pushing a little bit hard.
Such a tricky corner to get right, though.
Sorry?
Such a tricky corner to get right, though. You're coming downhill, you've got all the pressure, and then you've got to really load up the brakes. Sometimes you just run off.
Curb there, yeah. And that, curbs are going to come into effect here tonight. I think, one, you're going to have incident points, possible damage on the car, and they're not great overtaking areas, and if there's someone trying to push through, it's going to create some havoc there. And surprisingly, Norrie, you were out there, you had to follow around for the first lap. A little bit of carnage, but not major carnage, which is what was really good for the first lap. I think everyone, despite pushing really hard and a little bit of rubbing is racing, everyone seemed to get through, and with a little bit of respect from some of the racers. Who's that? Another Simrigs car. If there's that ladder off in the back, Lindsell, who is gone off in the 554 Simrigs car again, gone a little bit wide. Let's have a check at the replay there of Lindsell there. Just gets up on there, grabs a little bit of grass at that point. Hard on the brakes, comes over. Doesn't look too bad at that point. Grabs some curb and just goes straight. Yeah, just maybe the curb there. Force feedback, pushed him back a little bit maybe.
Yeah, just fed the car the other way and off you go.
Yeah, look, it's curbs are good if you can hold on to them and keep the car settled. They're really good. You can use them to your advantage. However, they can be a disadvantage if you hit them in the wrong angle. Push the car off a fair bit there, as you can see. Kuznetsov now caught in this little battle. Hobson in front, Briggs behind, and Kuznetsov, what can he do? I'm just trying to see where he is sitting here at the moment in our championship ladder, because he's had a few. Well, he came in for the last race of season number 10, and he actually surprised us, didn't he? He was a bit of an unknown to us, and he's put together some time to. He's in 16th in the championship at the moment, so he's still got a few championship points to do there. Nice move under brakes here. Briggs is going to follow him through as well. Is he? Can't get the job done though. Hobson closes that. Nice job by Hobson, I think, to not make too much contact there. They didn't really make contact, but just shut that door down on Briggs, who was a definite to go through with a less experienced driver. Now Myers behind here, so Briggs has to move on because Myers, well, he'd be trying to make up for those mistakes. That little contact earlier in the race pushed him back, and now he's just made that little mistake earlier. Briggs now on the inside line, this left-hander as they turn the cars around. Can they get up? They go up this hill now as they push down the back section off there. Slight right-hander. Another left-hander here, so he's got the inside line. You think Briggs will make this happen? Myers going to put his nose in there as well because you've got another left-hand bend, but you've got a right-hand corner here now. He's going to have to really get in front of Hobson if he wants to stick this one, and Hobson knows he's going to slot back in there. Myers will have to pick another opportunity to overtake. Hobson goes off wide though. Myers, can he take advantage? Just one around the outside. He's got a bit of a straight here. It's going to be a right-hand corner. No, he's got the speed. You think he'd have the drive, and looks like Blacklock going to take full advantage of that one as well and just drive through. As you can see him using a fair bit of the curb there, and that's unfortunate for Hobson, who was doing a fantastic job there just holding out Briggsy, but he goes back quite a few positions there and puts him back a little bit now and moves into position number 12. So back in P12. We'll have a little bit of a look further down the back there. Rob Bowden, who's been a bit impressive here in a couple of our rounds this year. I've seen him move through the pack, especially in round number 2. Our last sprint race that we did have. And now he's caught up in a little bit of a battle there, Mr. Bowden, and he's going to have a bit of work to do when he's got all those people around him. Jamie Dyke, the Fishy Motorsport entry, just got Sebastian Tix here just in front. Michael Talianchi's behind him, but Mickey T's moving his way like he does. He grabs the pit too, Mickey T. He's going to throw himself in there, and I'm just trying to see where he is when it comes to pit stop strategies, whether he's got in early, and Michael Talianchi is taking his second pit stop, I do believe. So it's the second pit stop for him. So Jackson Harlow is out in the front of this race at the moment. Keeping in mind that he's on the Norrie pit stop strategy. Go long, 2 short pit stops.
I call it the Norrie stop strategy.
The Norrie stop strategy.
Jake Maloney also without a pit stop to his name in that category. And
I mean, you know, fuel-wise, it's going to keep you stop pretty short there. You can grab tyres, just enough fuel to get onto the next one, really. Because how many laps are you going to get to your opening tank, Norrie?
26 laps to your opening tank from this setup.
There you go. So it's easy. Oh, a bit of a turnaround there, a bit of contact maybe, and spun around there. And there's that Clayton. Justin Clayton in 120 just gives him a bit of a nudge. We'll have to wait and see what race control say about that. Unfortunate though for the Fishy Motorsports entry, Jamie Dyke. It's going to hurt. No, wasn't Dyke, was it? Was that Michael Whiting? That's not good, Norrie. We're going to have to get you to do some driving soon if they keep this up.
Got it.
Blake Delaney there, up on our screen at the moment, stuck back in P number 32, and he's up 5 positions over the Fishy Motorsports boys, and just pushed him through at the moment. Jamie Dyke a bit further on, and we just got him wrong before. It was his teammate caught up in that a little bit. Watching out for Sebastian Tixia, who's just in front of him now. Tixia, we were talking to Brian Borg last week, you know, coming over from, was he French? So we're going to come over from France, helping the boys out with a fair bit, and that's what Brian said. He's very good when it comes to strategy and set up a car. Myers now looking for a move here. Can he get it done? Kuznetsov, though, is not going to make it easy for him, trying to get into P9. Myers has made his way back into position number 10. Kuznetsov standing in there. Myers, big dive on the inside. Kuznetsov makes a bit of room, tries to do the crisscross. Let's see as they exit this one. What can they do? They go around the Tosa. Up over the hill. It's a left. Slight kink. Right-hander now. Oh, sorry, left-hander now. Double left. Myers, they're going to have the run on the inside here on the right. No, they make contact wheel to wheel, and Kuznetsov gets pushed off onto the dirt. That also means that we're going to see Blacklock go through as well as Hobson. Myers now, is he slowed down? I'm just trying to see if he's slowed down for a redress here, I think, and that's going to hurt both of them. That is really going to hurt both of them. That is unfortunate. I'm sure that's not what Myers wants. He's already trying to redress that and waiting for Kuznetsov to come through. So that's going to hurt both of them there. And unfortunately for Myers, he's not going to worry about the penalty. He's going to try and do the redress as early as possible. As we head back into this little battle now, back in the position number 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 up on your screen. Starts with, starts out actually position 20. Hobson there at the front. And right behind him, Bowden, Tixia, Dyke, Smart, Jones. They're all locked up in this nice little battle together. This is actually a good little battle to watch because there is some driving ability in this little pack here, and we'll wait to see what they can do because only one pit stop for all of these guys, and be interested to see what they decide to do. Jackson Harlow still, and Jake Maloney still on 0 pit stops at the front. They're going for the long haul. They're looking for the Norrie pit stop strategy. Go long, 2 short stops, come home on fresh tyres, purple sectors all the way. Bit of a move there in the background there, as it looks like we're going to have who is that coming through? Christian Smart trying to make a bit of a move there in the background. Jones now at the back of this pack and just watching on to see what he can do. Oh, there we go. Smart's going to put the nose down the inside here. Can he get the job done over Jamie Dyke? He can do, but Dyke's on the inside line here. Round the outside, looks like Smart's going to get this move done. Maybe a little bit of contact there, but only a bit of a slide there from Dyke, and it looks like maybe we're going to see Jones take advantage of that one as well. Dyke's going to get that position back, though, I reckon. He's just going to do the crisscross there and try and get back on the racing line. Moving forward, though, it doesn't look like Bowden's going to get to Hobson. Tixia, Smart. But it's really in the background here. These two now are having a bit of a fight out here for position number 24. Jones doesn't want to let him go, which is good. Cameron Jones. Just following him around, the number 196 car. Century Motorsports on board. And down a few positions from his starting position there, where he's back in P21 for the start of this race. Jamie Dyke, though, has made up 9 positions in the Fishy Motorsport Mustang. So he's had a nice little run here so far in the race. But unfortunately there with a little bit of side-to-side contact there was Smart a bit earlier, which lost in that position. Now he's in that little battle as we go forward a bit. The Hayne train. Toddy Hayne. Just sticking out there in the Taipan Esports entry. We're on the other Hayne train before, but Mr. Hayne there in P11 at the moment. Got Myers behind him though, and Myers now hasn't made that redress on Kuznetsov. I know they waited quite some time, so they've done a fair bit of work in there. A lot of people coming in the pits now though, Norrie, and they're starting to pile in for their second pit stop by the looks of it.
Yeah, some of them are trying to make their pit stop window even shorter.
I take it you're having a bit of a talk about the guys with the Norrie strategy out in front.
Yes.
Jackson Harlow, they're going to take tyres, I reckon, and not just a sniff of fuel. Be like a 600ml bottle of Coke going in that fuel tank, I reckon. Here we go. As Myers gets the move done.
Sometimes that's all you need, just a smidgen of fuel to get there across the line at the end, but that could be all the difference into how long you take your stop.
Well, we're just having a look at some of the pit stop times. I mean, you know, up actually in the air is not too bad, but generally they're doing about 22 seconds through the pit lane, 21, 22, knowing that they're not going to take a lot of fuel on. James Scott is 26 seconds behind. So will this strategy work for Jackson Harlow? Maybe it will. 26. Once you're in the groove, a bit of muscle memory, you just stay out in front. But I mean, James Scott's already got one stop done. That's the thing. One stop is done. So let's see what happens here as they start to come in. Corey Shep and Andrew Dyson decide, hey, let's get this done so we can just race it all the way home. Lap 17 at the moment, so they've completed 16 laps. They can well and truly get home from here, but they're going to come in early, try and find themselves a position, and then just reevaluate where they are out on track and try and win this race from there. So interesting to see that Shepherd has decided to take that strategy this time. Everyone's starting to move forward. Just having a look, Damien Johnson also in, Kyle Stokes. So there's a few of them starting to make their way in the pits and just get those pit stops out of the way. And I suppose, what's the advantage of that, Norrie? Do you know where you sit? Like, can you look at the times? Can you have your spotter look at your relative, how far you are behind the leader, and sort of, you know, have a bit of an estimation on how hard you need to push?
Generally, when you're following that strategy, you do want to know where everything is moving across the field relative to you. But generally, when it all washes out, you end up back in the same sort of area where you started off from. So it's good to know and have a look, but it's even better if you can have someone looking for you.
Well, we just had him 3 wide there with Borgie. Tixia in front, his teammate, who we said has been really helpful in recent times with the setup of the car, knows a lot about what he's doing from France. But there now Borgie's locked into a little bit of a battle there with Smart, and that's going to slow him down a little bit because Cameron Jones just hanging off the back of that one. So Christian Smart just taking it to Borgie at the moment, and Borgie just doesn't seem to have the right pace here. I saw it in some practice sessions earlier, but he dropped off a little bit come qualifying time. Now he pushes Cameron Smart back in position, definitely puts the elbows out, grabs the curb there on this one. But unfortunately for him, Christian Smart looks like he's starting to drive away a little bit now. So Christian Smart starting to pull away. They're all on one pit stop at the moment. Corey Shepherd now is behind them. You can see the Mr. Antenna car now. He has had his second pit stop.
Yeah, Jackson, Slisson Harlow and Jake Maloney have had their second pit stops. They're at pit exit now.
There we go. They have come out. And so James Scott now really takes the lead back in this race. So Scott now leading this race once again. Harlow behind, Stewart then behind him. So Joe Stewart doing a fantastic job to move up 2 positions, just working it. Jordan Ross back and forth, lurking, looking for a position, I would say, just looking. Borgie locks the tyres up, coming in sideways from the 17. He wouldn't do it any other way. Driving it like he does every day, like it's a truck. Just get hard on those air brakes, see if he can pull it up. Hobson now slides the car around. He is pushing very, very hard in this one in position number 11 now. He's only had 1 pit stop, and that was way back in lap number 6. So he's done a few laps on these tyres now. I mean, it's only a 30-lap race tonight. You don't have to worry about too much as we look up the strategy up there on the bottom right-hand corner. You see Scott there, 9 laps, 8 laps. So he's gone the thirds pretty much, and he's going to bring that home down with about 13 laps to go on these tyres. Harlow, he went 17 laps, just pushed it all the way out. Now he's going to come home with some really, really fresh tyres. He is 8 seconds behind James Scott, but will his qualifying times match James Scott's race times? Will there be enough time there for him to pull it down? Because we know he's still got to go in for 1 more pit stop as well. So that is really going to hurt him. James Scott there has not taken his second pit stop either, I can see. So he's still got 1 to go. We'll see exactly what happens here with the strategy. Some sector times coming up for Corey Shepherd though on fresh tyres. Looks like he's pretty quick getting around there at the moment in the 23s in sector 3. So it's starting to push up. Here we go, Mr. Hayne in position number 9. Adam Hayne, 1/2 of the Hayne train. Up 15 positions at the moment. Only 1 pit stop in, and that was back in lap number 9. So probably be interested to see whether he's going to push this out while he's got a bit of clean air at the moment. It looks like he's making some positions where he's going to try and push those tyres a little bit further and see what he can do. Brother Hayne just a little bit further up. Todd Hayne in 7th, up 10 positions. So the Hayne team are doing pretty well at the moment. And I tell you what, in the background, they are starting to impress me a little bit. They've come in, and we saw them down the back of the pack really a bit earlier on in the season, and towards the end of season 10, and just starting to make their way up and find their groove, I suppose, and the setup of their car, and just doing a little bit better each time they come out, which is good because we're going to see them start to battle out for those top 10 positions a bit later on in the race. Sam Blacklock now, as we've come up on board, going around the outside of, I'm just having a look who that is. Is that Parks he's just gone around the outside of? But Blacklock back up into position number 18 at the moment now. He has done 2 pit stop strategies. So he is on with Corey Shepherd, who has also done 2 pit stop strategy, who has just gone up into position number 13. So Corey Shepherd working his way through over Christian Smart, and looks like he'll get that move done fairly easily. Now this is going to be very interesting. Sebastian Tixier in front of him. Teammate, obviously in the Premier Racing Team entry. And would do a lot of work on the setup there, I'd say, with Corey Shepherd. I reckon they would work very, very closely together. We know Brian Borg talking about Tixier and how he understands a lot to do with strategy and the car. Now, will he go over and let Corey Shepherd go by, or is this going to be a bit of a battle here? Are they going to keep the race going and see exactly what goes on there? Rob Bowden out in front, so Corey Shepherd's going to want to get on with him, because Bowden is not going to move in position easily. Tixier goes a little bit wide there. Plenty of room there, though, as it looks like Corey Shepherd will move his way through. Moving back to Kuznetsov now, having to work back after that little incident earlier there with Brady Myers, as Myers pulls into the pit, and behind him we see 1/2 of the Hayne train. Adam Haynes in, Todd Hayne, brother Haynes in as well, Brady Myers, so they're all going to come in for their second pit stops and get those run and done and fight it out. Kuznetsov though is in position number 6 now, working his way back in, but only 1 pit stop, so he'll still have to come through the pits at least 1 more time when it comes to this one. As we have a look at Jordan Ross. Now I said this lurking in the background. He's only done 1 pit stop, but up in position number 4, and he's just always there. He's up 4 positions from the start of this race. Started out of row number 4, and now he's in position 4. Got a few people around. Jake Maloney just behind him, who came in for that very late pit stop, lap 17. So went the long way. Whereas we see Jordan Ross, who's came in lap 8. So his tyres are pushing 11, 12 laps old. So you would think that maybe Maloney's going to get a better opportunity, a bit more drive there on some fresh tyres, and that's what we spoke about with the long strategy. Go long the first time, come home with really good tyres. He uses a whole heap of curve, goes airborne, put the wings out and fly that thing over the next couple of corners. Jordan Ross though, just cool, calm and collected, just getting the car around, try not to use too much curve and unsettle anything too much in the Synergy Sim Racing JK Signs entry, the 143s, to see a car off in the background there, and the 851 car, Stephen Kokoschki. So a bit further back in the pack he is, Kokoschki. It's one of our back markers there, and just getting out of the way. I don't know if they were intentionally getting out of the way or accidentally, but that's how it is. You see him now, it looks like the drive there though from Jake Maloney, and he's just going to push that car through. He's on the inside line, takes that move nicely. Jordan Ross puts up a little bit of a fight there, but doesn't want to put the elbows out too much and cause anything at this point, because he is on much older tyres. He's on a different pit stop strategy. The car slides out, you can see that. The grip level's not as good for him. It's good to see everyone who could join us here. I hope you're enjoying the broadcast here on YouTube. Of course, if you're with Team 126 over in the States, we're sharing it out there as well. Hope you're enjoying tonight. And of course, in Australia, we call it the Imola track, but if you want to pronounce it in the real way, I'm going to try it. The Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari Grand Prix. Is that how it goes, Norrie? I got that wrong in the middle.
If you rewind the tape, you'll hear I stumbled over the exact same part.
Oh, I think I'm going to have to, you know, it's because I'm sober. Like, if I was only influenced, I'm sure I could have bounced that out.
Autodromo Enzo Dino Ferrari.
Dino Ferrari.
It's a spicy meatball, that's what it is.
It is a spicy Italian meatball. Near the Italian town, is named for the founder of Ferrari and his son Dino. There you go. And it's good to see this beautiful track, and of course they did redesign this. They had quite a few incidents at this track over the years. James Scott, though, our race leader, pulling in for his second pit stop, getting that run and done on lap number 21. So it'll be interesting to see how he comes out. Harlow now will take the reins of P1 once again, but only one pit stop on that long strategy. Kuznetsov, though, looks like he is all over the back of Damien Johnson there, as Johnson goes a little bit wide. Kuznetsov in the RaceKraft Synergy Sim Racing entry. Premier Racing Team entry.
Yeah, James Scott playing the long game here, and I'm not sure if he's going to get that one playing. It actually will play out well for him. Sorry, Harlow's playing the long game. I'm not sure if it's going to play out well for him.
Myers now on the back of Kuznetsov. Now these two had a little bit of an incident before. Not a major one, but they locked wheels there, and we know Myers tried to redress that one, but Kuznetsov there got pushed back quite, and they lost quite a number of positions. Now Myers has come in, and he has taken his second pit stop. So here's two. Rick Kuznetsov has come in since then. We've been a couple of laps since we had a look at him. So he has pit stopped and got in front as well. So this is a race for position at the moment. Damien Johnson has taken his pit stop as well. So this position 10, there's no more pit stops for these guys. They are racing to the checkered flag, is what you can see up there in Damien Johnson. Well, the bearded man is leading this little charge. His three-man here as Kuznetsov takes a dive on the inside. Can he get it done? Slides the car around. Oh, a little bit of contact. Myers takes full advantage around the outside. Who in the background is that going around as well? Looks like we've got a track racer car. More is it going around? Bradley Vaughan is going around the outside, the number 100. So Vaughan goes around the outside, and Kuznetsov, well, he's not having a lucky night. I mean, he was hard on brakes, and that's the risk you take, especially on a track like this. They get hard on brakes, and you can lock them up and slide the car in. You just got to watch out, because Stokes is just behind him in the 888. So Kyle Stokes, Synergy Sim Racing, he put the nose in there. He showed his intention to Kuznetsov. Now, what will Kuznetsov do here? Be a little bit defensive? No, just stick on the driving line. Maybe just cool, calm and collective. Get back into it. Look for another opportunity on Damien Johnson. We spoke about this, Norrie, didn't we? Not as many opportunities on this track, but there's lots of places where it can all go wrong, especially with the amount of curves and how much braking you need to do around.
Imola's quite hard on the curve, so having one of those areas where you will get pinged quite hard is quite frustrating for our drivers.
Here we go. I noticed the confidence though of the curbs has got a lot better as the night goes on. We saw them, obviously you got to be careful in qualifying. It can ruin your qualifying lap. You could be on a flyer, you go out of the outer limits, and then that doesn't count. But in racing, you might get a couple of incident points for it, but they seem to be a lot hungrier for those curbs at the moment. You see the cars really start to get airborne on 2 and 3 and 4 wheels around some of them. So they're starting to push their luck there, and they'll be watching the incident points. Now we're on lap number 23. They're probably saying, hey, if I got a few up the sleeve, I can probably risk a few just to cut a time down there and make a move there. Because Kuznetsov needs to watch out though. Kyle Stokes in the background, he can't do it because Kuznetsov has to get defensive though, and that's what hurts him though when it comes to times. That's the problem. So
This is Johnson and Kuznetsov. Job Stewart is pitting from position 3 on circuit, so he'll be coming to the lane to add that pit stop to his roster. And Rick Kuznetsov got Job Stewart pitting, yep. This is your James Scott James Scott's got the fastest lap of the race. That on the bottom right corner is your pit stop strategy. So that's exactly how far the drivers have been on each tyre set. The yellow is the first stop and the blue is the second stop. You're watching these drivers. Battling for 35th, this is Kimmen. Now looking at Sebastian Flock and Trixia. To see that move come really swiftly for Trixia. And Sebastian Flock just following in behind here. That is Brian Borg. Do not adjust your sets. He is in 25th position. I think Brian will not be too happy about.
Yeah, what's Borgie doing back there in 25th, mate? We need to talk about this. He's been trying to get some pit stop strategy, but from memory, he started way back in something like position number 21 or 20 off the grid. So not in a position he really wanted to be, and not really strong in qualifying, Norrie.
No, maybe Imola isn't his circuit. We'll have to catch up with him sometime through the week and find out where he didn't go well, because he hasn't gone well in quality.
No, he hasn't. And look at the Haynes train back there in 15 and 16 too. Todd Haynes is going up to 14 now. So the brothers have been. They got their 2 pit stops done, and they are starting to push their way back. Will they see a top 10 tonight? Maybe. Daiso in 7th now. So part of the team, and Briggsy right behind him in 8th. So those guys, again, not as strong in qualifying at this round. Jordan Ross is another one we keep on over there with Jordan Ross. 6 laps left now. Jordan Ross hasn't done his final pit stop, so he's pushing on in second position up 6, but he has not done his second pit stop, so we'll have to watch that and see exactly how he is going to deal with that and where he ends out in the fight, because he was in 4th position there in amongst it. James Scott's only 10 seconds behind him. Corey Shepherd now behind them. They've done their 2 pit stops. They are coming home. Remembering though that James Scott is on 5 laps younger tyres, so you think he's going to bring that home. We check out Todd Hayne up on screen now. His brother's a couple of positions back in position number 16, but position 14 there for Todd Hayne, and Rick Kuznetsov in front of him. Nice little battle going on. Kyle Stokes involved in this one as well. We see him come around this time. It hasn't been the night, I think, for Paul Borgie. He's got a bit of work to do. Brian Borg back in P number 25s, and Flock just in front of him, of course. Sebastian Flock doing a great job just holding on that position. Sebastian Tixie are up in front too, so he's actually had quite a good night. He's up 7 positions, so just battling away there in the RaceKraft Premier Racing Team entry there, the number 70. New to the team, obviously puts a lot of input into the setup of the car as well, and working hard, but Brian Borg struggling tonight. Despite what I saw him do in some practice sessions earlier tonight, I thought we would have seen him probably up there in the top 5. And considering where he is in the championship at the moment, that is probably going to hurt him, because he was on equal second points with Andrew Dyson now. Dyson and Jordan Ross could possibly take a bit of advantage out of this one and get it over Borgie, and he might float back a little bit in the championship standings. We'll have to look at that a bit later. Mickey T, though, look at Mr. Michael Taliancic. He likes to qualify down the back. I think he just does it for a challenge now. I think sort of a bit of a question. How many spots can you make up? He's been in for 2 pit stops. He's on the run home. He's up 26 positions there in the 777.
Yeah, Mickey T definitely likes to offer us up a bit of a challenge of how many cars he's going to pass in a night, and tries to challenge himself. Obviously, he's very good at it, very quick at it, and passes a few, so he's doing a good job there.
So instead of us having bets and wagers on safety cars, do you reckon we should put a bet on how many positions Mickey T is going to make up in a night?
I think if you go back and watch season 10, we tried to add them all up, and it just got crazy, the numbers of cars he was passing. He was deliberately qualifying down the back, so it was intentional.
I'm pretty sure he must be, because he just loves going through the pack. I mean, it makes it exciting as a driver, doesn't it? I mean, you get to be part of that. There's no point being out in the front and being in clean air sometimes. You want to be in the battle. You want to enjoy the overtaking manoeuvres, be part of it, strategy, see what you can do. As we look up here, Kuznetsov now caught in between 2 cars. Damien Johnson out in front, and of course it's Todd Hayne behind in number 14. What can he do? Kuznetsov, though, bit of damage on the side of that car. You can see the war wounds there from some contact which he's had previously, and it's, you know, he's been in there with Smart, he's been in there with Brody Myers. They've all made a bit of contact with Paul Kuznetsov tonight. He hasn't had it all his way, unfortunately for him, so he's had to go the long way around. He's had to do the hard yards in that one. We'll have to check out the incident points a bit later on throughout this race, because remembering tonight there is only 20 incident points there, so there might be a few people with some late penalties there. We haven't heard from race control about it yet, but you just never know when it comes to the last couple of laps. They don't get a chance to do those drive-through penalties. Have a look, Todd Hayne, though, right up under the rear wing. Can he challenge him for this position? Maybe he can go up to P13. He's looking to see if he can do it over Kuznetsov. Just giving a little bit of a reprieve there to Damien Johnson now, who opens up the gap a little bit, just a little bit of daylight between them now, which wasn't there before. You can see a bit of racetrack. We look off the back of Kuznetsov's car there, and you can see the front of Todd Hayne. Have a look back, Sebastian Tixey now holding out a group, and is that Brian Borg maybe pushed back? He's still in P25. Sebastian Flock in front, he's trying to get past him. Cameron Jones then to Tixey now. Jones all over the back, Sebastian Tixey. Borgie makes a move here on the inside there. A little bit of wheel-to-wheel action there. It looks like he's going to hold on to that one and gets past Sebastian Flock. Now, it'll be interesting to see if he's got the pace now to pull away. Maybe he was being held up a little bit there. Sebastian Tixey just trying to stay on the racing line there, and watch out for Cameron Jones. Jones just using the advantage, following Tixey around the track at the moment. We go back to this little battle now, though, for position number 12. Johnson there. A little bit of race back between them. They grab a whole heap of curb, though, for Kuznetsov and Johnson. The suspension, getting a bit of a workout here tonight. A virtual workout. Do you even lift? Those shocks do.
Virtually.
Virtually. You know, that's the best sort of workout. No sweating, not sore the next day. It's a bit of a virtual workout.
I think those boys after this race will be sweating just a bit. It's quite a hard, tough race around Imola.
Well, I want to know if they got a motion seat. How good would that be going over the curb to actually have everything go, you know, the motion? It'd be great. Last couple of laps in this race. So it's lap 28 already. Where did that come from on the outside there? Todd Hayne tries to just show his nose because Kuznetsov has to be defensive. Shuts that gap down. Todd Hayne, though, will just stay on the racing line. Mickey T, though, looks like he might lose the position. He just holds onto it at the moment. Needs to watch out for Sean Lindsell, trying to push on the alcohol to simrings.com car. Oh, Jackson Harlow. Oh, he's read the rules, though. He's got to do it. Jordan Ross is going to have to come in. After last week where he copped some late penalty points there, he's going to want to come in here. It's going to be interesting to see where they come out because there's no time. Fresh tyres aren't going to make a difference with a lap and a half left to go. Lap 28 at the moment. They should complete this lap and 2 left. But that strategy may not work out for them unless they're just trying to get up from where they started and do the best they can. James Scott can't be too far away from taking the lead of this race once again. We're just watching to see that happen. Be interesting to see what pit exit's like as they come out. Kuznetsov's still holding on. James Scott goes by. Is that black? Oh, is that Harlow coming out of the pit? So Harlow's come out. Yeah, he stayed in front of Corey Shepherd though, hasn't he? Jordan Ross still in there. I'm actually surprised Jordan Ross is still in the pits. I wouldn't expect him if he comes out. Where Jordan Ross going to end up back in P6. So Jake Maloney and Job Stewart. Jordan Ross still up 2 positions from the start of this race, remembering that. So strategy might have worked for him there with 2 positions. we know earlier on he made a number of positions there, but with cars going in early and things like that, you know, you got to look towards the end of the race there. Jordan Ross has done a fantastic job to grab 2 positions, considering the times these guys ran when it came to qualifying. These are all 141 races in front of him, doing 141. So Jordan Ross to be on the back of that and still make up 2 positions, doing a fantastic job here tonight, as we see Sebastian Flock there and Cameron Jones now. Now Jones has moved back. Something's happened to him because he was right on the back of Sebastian Tixia there for quite a bit of time, and Brian Borg has gone through and made himself back up into position number 22. So the 017 looks like he did have a fair bit more pace and just trying to work his way through some of the traffic there. And that's the unfortunate thing about it, if your qualifying doesn't go to plan, is that you end up in those battle packs, and depending on your pit stop strategy, you end up fighting that out, and it really hurts you. We check a bit of a replay out on screen at the moment. Yeah, so just having a look at that as Brian Borg gets the easy pass there on Sebastian Tixia. So letting the boss through, boss of the team. So he'll be Borgie Shaw on the radio saying, mate, I got the speed, let me through. Just let me through. As we come out, we're on the final lap of this race. The white flag is out. 29 laps completed. We're on lap number 30 now. James Scott leading this one. Jackson Harlow in second. They've all pit stopped. Corey Shepherd back to third. So he's actually lost a position here, and it's going to be hard on the final lap to make that happen. James Scott catching up to some lap traffic, but they're doing the right thing, pulling to the side. He has got a commanding lead, though. 4.5 seconds. He can coast this one home. Doesn't need to get himself in trouble. That's the biggest thing. He does not need to get himself involved in any trouble at this point. He won't be happy about being in traffic, though, because it's going to hurt him. I'm sure they're getting the wave around at the moment, though. James Scott, they can see the big Logitech G-Autos car. They know it's normally up the front of the pack. You see that in your side mirrors, your rear vision mirror on your relative. You just go, you know what? How often do I see James Scott down the back of the pack? So I'm sure you're going to check his position and go, mate, time to let him go by. He's going to come around here. We've only got a few more corners of this race. So they come up over the flash of the lights just to let them know, let me through, boys. I want to take this win. It's a Friday night. I can knock off early and go over Beveridge. It's still early enough. A few more corners on this one. We don't have too long left to go, Norrie.
Hey, it's flashing lights. He's ready to go and finish this one and come home strong tonight as James Scott.
Yeah, final corner now. Well, is it the final corner? The final tough corner here. There'll be a slight ride here as he comes around to finish this race. 30 laps, commanding lead from the start. I mean, qualifying time was unbelievable. Set that really early and just brought it on home from there. It did not matter. He just took the easy pit stop strategy. Harlow comes in second there. Just waiting for Corey Shepherd across the start-finish line in third position. So he loses one, goes back to bronze. They all did 2 pit stops. Will be interesting to see how they go when it comes to those incident points. Only 20 there. Jack Maloney ends up in 4th. Job Stewart crosses for 5th. Jordan Ross, can he bring it home in 6th, up a couple of positions? Daiso in 7th. Adam Briggs in 8th. Brady Myers, who's had a yo-yo of a night. Let's see where he ends up in this one, because he'll be looking to try and bring it home strong. Wade Sheedy's looking like he's got a bit of damage on the front of that car, but Brady Myers will bring it home in 9. We'll wait to confirm that one. Sam Blacklock in 10 just behind. See him come through as well. 11's Bradley Vaughan, 12 Damian Johnson, 13 Rick Kuznetsov, 14 Todd Hayne, Kyle Stokes in 15, Adam Hayne 16, Brenton Hobson will come home in 17th. Michael Taliancic, well, he's just having another fun night. Why start at the front when you can start at the back and make up 26 positions? Mickey T brings it home in 18. Sean Lindsell in 19. Rob Bowden 20. Jamie Dye 21. Borgie though 22nd. And I'm glad we're not interviewing him. He's a frustrating night, I'm sure, for him. Sebastian Flock in 23rd, so his teammates behind him. Christian Smart in 24. Cameron Jones back in 25, who was had a nice little battle there. Just waiting to see. Bailey Fridge should come across in 28th, which he does. Todd Parks back in 29. We're just waiting for him to cross the line. Stephen Varga, 30. Craig Anspatch in 31. Tyson McAvoy in 32. Then it goes back to David Kimmond, David Coleman, Blake Delaney in 35. Brenton Nitsky, 36. Blake Warboys, Stephen Kokoschki in 37, 38. Michael Whiting, 39. We've got a few guys here tonight. Justin Clayton, 40th. Wade Sheedy, we saw that potted off. He ended up in 41. Brad Radu, Ken Latta, and a bit early. They've retired a little bit early by the looks of that one. So a few of these guys didn't quite make it to the end of the race. We'll have to go, because Brad Radu it was great to see him back, actually. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. And the birthday boy got a couple of laps in tonight, mate. You got in there, Norrie?
I had a lap behind the field on the opening lap, and It was good to see.
I haven't busted out for you yet, mate. I'm going to bust out for you a bit later. James Scott, though, is our winner here tonight. Of course, the Logitech G Autos Esports. The winner, 30 laps here around Imola, the Italian racetrack, the Ferrari-inspired Italian racetrack there, and good to see 30 laps tonight, 150-kilometre race. All thanks to Jinx Shifters and, of course, RaceKraft Simulations. He pulls up. He's not going to do the burnouts for us. Jackson Harlow in second, Corey Shepherd in third, Jack Maloney in fourth, Job Stewart in fifth, Jordan Ross in sixth, Andrew Dyson seventh, Adam Briggs eighth, Brady Myers in ninth, Sam Blacklock 10, Bradley Vaughan 11, Damien Johnson 12, Rick Kuznetsov 13, Todd Hayne 14, Kyle Stokes 15, Adam Haynes 16, Brenton Hobson 17, Michael Taliancic in 18th position. 19 is Sean Lindsell. 20th will be Rob Bowden, and then we go back to Jamie Dyke, 21. Brian Borg in 22nd, Sebastian Flock in 23rd, Christian Smart, 24, Cameron Jones, 25, Jacob Knight in 26, Sebastian Tixia, 27, Bradley Freed in 28th, Todd Parks in 29th, Stephen Varga 30th, Craig Ansbach 31, Tyson McAvoy in 32, David Kim in 33, David Coleman in 34, Blake Delaney 35th, Brenton Nitschke in 36th, Blake Warboys in 37th, Stephen Kokoschke in 38th, Justin Clayton 39th, Wade Sheedy 40th, Michael Whiting 41st, Brad Radu and Ken Ladder early in 42, 43, Geordie Sidney in 44, and Blake Purdy in 45. There we go, 45 entries here tonight that made it into the Group 1, Norrie, and they got us through. What a fantastic race. There was some things happening sort of in the middle there. Brady Myers just definitely has the pace, but a bit of a yo-yo and caught up in traffic. It was unfortunate for him.
Yeah, I really would congratulate Rick Kuznetsov on his performance tonight. It's not often that you can say you held off Brady Myers. Rick did a stunning job in the middle part of that race to be able to hold Brady Myers off. They had a bit of a coming together through the bottom hairpin, but they fought out well, and it was a good race through the mid-pack.
Yeah, another one I've got to have a look at there, and I'm probably going to note down here is a couple more, is if we have a look back at Bradley Vaughan. I mean, Bradley Vaughan, we didn't actually catch up with him as much as we probably noticed. He's just slowly working his way through the pack, up 7 positions. Also, we need to look at Kyle Stokes, who, caught in a few battles there and holding his own, also up 7 positions there. So that's another good one there from them, because they've just working their way through the mid-pack, and that's where all the action is, and it's hard to make those positions. And I tell you what, Todd Hayde and Adam Hayne, because those guys just keep improving each week. So I'm pretty happy to see the Hayne Train boys just making their way through and working hard and getting the setups right in the car and just battling it out in the pack. So some fantastic things happening tonight throughout the pack, and especially that mid pack. I mean, Rob Bowden, unfortunately, he made 8 positions, but a bit further back than we has been recently. As we're just waiting for our winners to come into our chat, we are going to have a bit of a chat with them. So we've got P2 waiting for us, and we might just quickly grab a bit of a word here with Jackson Harley and see how he's going. No, Jackson Harley, we grabbed you into the commentary chat, mate, because we thought we'd grab you nice and early, seeing Scotty's not with us at the moment, but a second position tonight, mate, and you went the long haul and decided for 2 short stops at the end, and it paid off in the end. Got a position over Corey Shepherd.
Yeah. I felt like I had Corey covered pretty much anyway. My 1 lap pace definitely wasn't there tonight. I knew my race pace was really strong. That first stint, as soon as I cleared Corey, it was just all about saving tyre, not pushing hard. I was planning on doing that strat all along, but I thought it was going to work out a bit better. So I probably, if I could change it now, I would have went flat out with James, pulled him in, and then pitted when he did and raced him. But I tried going for a opposite strategy and definitely didn't work. But at the end of the day, P2 is not the worst result in the world.
How important is strategy when you come to it's only a 30-lap race. You don't need to pit twice, but it is a requirement. You got to go in twice. How important is strategy in a short race like this?
Oh, it's huge. I was just using this race for more laps in the supercar, just try to learn the car a bit more after the enduro with me and Jared the other week. But overall, in a short race like that, you gotta make sure your strategy's on point, especially racing those drivers. Like I said, mine didn't work out. I'm pretty happy to finish with second still. But I would have liked to have won, even if I just come out in front in that last stop. I knew I could have held him off, but I tried it, didn't work out. Next time I'll come back and get that number 1, hopefully.
Yeah. Oh, look, mate, we got another sprint race next week from. So you can do it all again. You can do it all again, and you can change your strategy.
Yeah, I reckon. Well, definitely we'll have to change the strategy. But no, enjoy racing these kinds of races. It's fun. I really love the endurance style ones as well. It's just I'm starting to get back in the V8. I used to race AOSC a lot, and then yeah, I'm really enjoying coming back racing the guys that I haven't raced for a while. And yeah, they've all stepped it up. So I think I'm just gonna have to pull my finger out and get a bit quicker and start winning some races.
Well, you're definitely quick, and we're watching you, mate. You're on our radar. So congratulations tonight in the second place. Do you need to thank anybody?
Yeah, just a massive thank you and shout out to Synergy Sim Racing for the help all night, especially Jordan and Steve and all them guys. Big shout out to Jamie McKnight as well from United Sim Sports, Jared Filsell, all them guys that put in the work. And yeah, cheers.
No worries, mate. Congratulations. We'll see you next week. All right. How good was that to see? You know, like it all comes down to that pit stop strategy, Nori. Like you said, he would have loved to have taken it to James Scott in the end and really race him on times and having a look at the times he probably could have. So it would have been an exciting finish there as we bring our winner in, actually, James Scott, who's taken out a dominating win here again tonight, mate. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, the car was not too bad. Probably still got a little bit of time in it, but yeah, overall the car was quite good. Obviously Jackson's very fast, and I know his pit strategy wasn't quite optimal, but I know his pace was good. So, but yeah, it was good to come away with the win.
Is it exciting knowing guys like that are coming through now and, it comes together for them? They're really going to push you in this series?
Oh yeah, it's good. Anyone that comes to race the series, obviously someone like Jackson, and I saw Jake Maloney here as well. It's good, and obviously Brady. It's good to see those guys coming and have a race. As I said, I think in round one I won't be able to make every round this season, but I'll try and make as many as I can.
Yeah, well, you walked away with a swag of points again, so you're still up there in the championship, just floating around. I mean, how challenging? How did you like the track actually as well tonight? I mean, there wasn't as many overtaking opportunities, by the looks of it.
I personally I love Imola. One of the best tracks on iRacing, I think. It's a good mix of slow speed and high speed corners. Overtaking, I can't really comment. I didn't have a chance to overtake anyone really on the track. I think most of the guys that were going a lap down sort of lifted off, so it's hard to comment. But previous experience, it's not been too bad into turn one. Maybe sometimes at the second last corner, but yeah, it's a really good track.
Look, mate, run through your sponsors. Anyone you need to thank for tonight.
Yeah, obviously all our great partners at Altus Esports with Logitech G, Astro Gaming, Cube Controls, Own 3D, Race Tech Seats, Virtual Racing School, and Sam Blacklock Media. And obviously thanks to you guys and for the broadcast and the series admin. And obviously congrats to the other guys on the podium as well.
Look, mate, we hope you can get to as many races as you can. You're very impressive, and I know. Look, there's lots of people who would love to win an AOSC championship, but they don't want to do it without beating you because you're the benchmark after the last three seasons.
Yeah, thanks guys. It's a good series, and I'll certainly try to make as many as I can.
Well, mate, we believe it's your 40th win here in AOSC, so congratulations on that, and yeah, have a good evening.
You too, guys. Thanks.
All right, we bring in our next one, third on the podium tonight, and he started off the front row of the grid alongside James Scott, which is a familiar position. But the Mr. Antenna Mustang of Corey Shepherd, he came home in third tonight, mate. Bit of a race there with Jackson Harlow when it came to pit stops and times.
Yeah, that was a good race. It was also pretty interesting to be able to change up the strategy. He did really good with that, and yeah, happy with the result.
Happy with the result. Some of your teammates struggling a little bit tonight. It's a shame to see Borgie a bit further back. Is he just struggling with a bit of car setup?
Yeah, well, I think it got pretty interesting down the back there, but maybe he didn't get his qualifying lap altogether that he needed, but on to next week.
How did you find the Imola tonight? Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I like the track. It's pretty tricky to be able to have a battle here because there's not too many passing opportunities, but no, it's definitely a fun and interesting track.
Look, mate, you're leading the championship at the moment, and I think tonight, judging by we haven't had Mr. James Scott at all of our races, you're probably going to walk away still in front. How does that make you feel? Well, I mean, we're only 4 rounds in, but we're a quarter of a way through the championship so far.
Yeah, very happy. It's awesome. So we're hoping to be able to maintain the lead for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it'd be great for you and the boys, and I know everyone working in the background of your team there doing the car setup. Run us through your sponsors tonight, mate, and anyone else you need to thank.
Yeah, big thanks to my sponsor, Mr. Antenna, all the guys at Premier Racing Team, and you guys for putting on the broadcast.
Mate, we can't wait to see what you bring next week and how it's all going to come together in the championship for you.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Corey. It's good to catch up with him like we do quite frequently. Him and James Scott always on the podium, always somewhere there floating around. And after last week, obviously after the penalties, those boys, him and Brian Borg coming number one and helping them with their championship points at the moment. So Corey Shepherd now still leading our championship, I do believe, after this one when I put the points in the system. Jake Maloney's jumped in just to have a word with us. Our fourth position there, Jake. Got a couple of positions from the start of the race and just working hard and putting some times together.
Yeah, a tough race, that one. Sort of had to play, we had a bit of a poor start and lost a few positions and had to sort of play the alternate strategy and run long to get some clean air, and yeah, it probably worked compared to the people I was racing.
How important is it to have clean air around a track like this?
Yeah, it is quite important, especially I was able to sort of see that I was faster than the people that had already pitted, and yeah, anytime you can get clean air and just run fast and consistent laps, it helps.
Yeah, fast laps. Got to put them together, and to play that 2 pit stop strategy. Then it is all about when you come in and where you predict you're going to come out in traffic too, isn't it? If you want to try and make those positions up.
Yeah, exactly. It was a bit of a panic 2 minutes before the race trying to work out the strategy because first time I've raced AOSC in a while, but yeah, got it sorted in the end, and we got a bit of pace to find compared to the 3 in front, but yeah, not a bad result.
Look, I like tonight. There was, I think, 7 of you in qualifying that did a 141. So at the front there was interesting to watch the different strategies and have you guys all race together. And I hope you enjoyed it. That's the main thing tonight. We hope you had a fantastic time. But, run us through your sponsors and who you need to thank for tonight.
Yeah, just a big thanks to everyone at TTR and VRS. Obviously, all the work we can do with their setups and data help us a lot, especially with all the cars we've got this year. Comparing that sort of stuff, and just a big thanks to you guys for the broadcast and Nick and everyone for putting the series on.
Mate, we hope to see you again. We got still got 12 more rounds to go, and we'll work your way through and accumulate some points in the championship.
Yeah, plan to be here. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Jake Maloney there coming 4th tonight, and like he said, a bit of work to do there after the start, but managed to get up 2 positions, ended up in 4th, just off the podium there. So there were some very fast races here tonight, Norrie, and and you got to race an AMG. You got to go around the AMG for a couple of laps.
Yeah, a couple of laps in the AMG is always a fun thing around any circuit, and pretty lucky to be in the series where they are confident enough to hand me the keys at a moment's notice. So happy to fill in for the team there.
Yeah, big shout out to our series sponsors, of course, Jinx Shifters. If you haven't checked them out, Facebook's the best way to go and check them out, but fantastic shifters, and if you're upgrading stuff, that's the shifter you want. RaceKraft Simulations over in WA, big shout out to Johnny, and I hope Chris is watching us over there as well. They've got the setup there, and if you're in WA, go down to RaceKraft Simulations and have a go. Once you get in those sims, you'll be hooked. You'll be buying stuff off him left, right, and centre, and you'll be part of things like this. AJ Insurance Services, Track Cams for Gourmet, simrigs.com, of course, Race Circuit Art Australia, Acuta, and Team 126 over in the States. Thanks to all of those sponsors who keep AOSC11 alive and running here in 2021. Norrie, what else do you need to say about this race?
It had everything, didn't it? We had a James Scott win. We haven't seen one of them for a couple of weeks. And we had, a couple of new faces, Jackson Slisson-Harlow, Joe Stewart, and Jake Maloney getting up there in terms of the race results. We didn't have Dyson or Briggs, 5 and 3 or 3 and 5. So they've got some work to do for the next round at DPR, and that smokers smoking some meat to get them faster. But yeah, good race.
And Michael Telly just started off the back and tried to made up 26 positions. So nothing's changed. We're back to a normal sprint round. Mosport is our next round number 5. Community Weight's another sprint round, 150 kilometres. So it's going to be super busy. I think there's only one more thing to do, Norrie, and it's your birthday week. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Here we go. Look, Mr. Matthew Norris. Happy birthday. Big round of applause to him. Big round of applause to all our winners tonight. Thank you to all of our sponsors, and we'll see